Jeremy Bernstein, and this is Social Clues, learning social cues to solve the clues. Okay, so what is it? It's a role-playing puzzle adventure game for children with autism and developmental disabilities, teaching pragmatics and social skills. Without getting too deep into autism, I just want to highlight that children with autism tend to have impaired social interaction, but they do have an affinity for technology and for video games. So what this is really about is building a game with a dual purpose. It's where gaming is also learning. And so for all of the gaming components here on the left, we've got a corresponding learning component on the right that's going to be built into the game. What I kind of imagine here is something that's kind of a mix between Brain Age and Monkey Island. Brain Age because it's kind of those repetitive mental tasks, those problems that the more you solve them, the more you do them, the more you strengthen that muscle. Combined with Monkey Island, where it's an interactive narrative that's led by interaction with characters as well as dialogue trees, so that you can find out what happened in the story. So it's kind of therapy plus entertainment. It's the best of both of those worlds. In terms of platform, it's going to be a mobile game on Apple iOS, and it's going to be built in Unity, so it's kind of a 2.5D style. And the story, very loosely, is about the Mum family, a family who only watches TV and surfs the web, never talks to each other, never communicates. And one day, the kids find out that all of their toys have just gone missing. And so now, they've got to sort of navigate the town, talk to people, and ultimately learn what happened to their toys, but really learn the power of communication. And who are those children, those kids? It's Pete and Kate, who find out that their full names are actually participate and communicate, because those are two behaviors we want to focus on. And the world that they're exploring is this highly stylized, brightly colored, simple cartoon world in sort of like an isometric perspective. And that's because it's all about retaining our players' focus and keeping them attentive to what we want them to pay attention to. Levels are self-contained chapters, so you can play just a level at a time and solve it by finding the single lost toy in each level. And it takes about 7-10 minutes to complete. And the game mechanics are really 3 simple mechanics. So you draw paths in order to move your character, you touch people and objects to interact with them, and you navigate conversations and puzzles. The real meat and potatoes behind this is that at the end of the level, you're going to get some post-level diagnostics. And what that means is for the kids playing, for our players, it's maybe a star rating of 1 to 5. But for parents, clinicians, etc., you're getting this fantastic spider chart that spits out how you did in terms of recollection, comprehension, emotional awareness, etc., but all these learning components, where you rank, where you might need work. The rationale is that there are no interventions or treatments that can cure autism. We're not trying to cure autism, but rather we're trying to amend behaviors. And the way by which to do that is you kind of model behaviors, right? And you role play. So you teach them first, here's the right thing to do, now you try. And so what better way to role play than a role-playing game? And these here at the bottom are case studies that are all clear indications from experts that of the benefits of role-playing as well as modeling. Why are we building it? Well, first of all, there's nothing like this on the market. Nothing exists that's a full-fledged game. It's like a Zelda first, but at the same time has a therapeutic element. Also because more and more studies keep coming out that show that the autistic population really sort of leans towards video games. And also because of early intervention, because the sooner you can get kids playing this game, or rather the sooner you can expose them to therapies, the quicker they're going to amend those behaviors and be able to really keep bettering them. And so getting them to play a video game really early is key. Our audience, as I mentioned before, were autistic students, or students rather with autism, as well as developmentally delayed students, but any children ages 5 to 10, because all developing children need social cues and need to learn what's right and wrong. And our consumers would be therapists, parents, and schools who would maybe use this to supplement some of the homework or clinical work that their clients are doing and really have an enjoyable experience. In terms of timeline, we're figuring about an 8-month production schedule. So hopefully they have something ready to play, or the game would release month 9. Budget would be about a monthly operating cost of $44,000. So a net cost for the game would be about $350,000. In terms of marketing, we would really take a low to no cost advertising strategy, and that would leverage credible referrals like you see here, the PTA, Parents' Choice, etc., but also using PR, word of mouth, and the school system who could spread it via a subscription service. And what I mean by a subscription service is I envision there's 3 great options here for monetization. The first being that we can offer this as a freemium, so you get the entire game, but we then charge for in-app ads and also referral dollars, so that as you play, it'll score you, and then based on how well you're doing and what areas you're excelling, here's a book maybe you want to read, or here's a clinic you might want to visit, and you get a chunk of that money. In-app purchases would mean that you get the first 3 levels free, but thereafter all levels, worlds, items you want to buy are going to cost you money. And then a subscription service, which I think is the best bet, in that, okay, you can play the game for free, but if you want that data, the analytics that show how you're doing and where you're growing and excelling, you'd have to pay a $5 a month service fee for that information. And that is social cues, social through interactive games.